welcome, watchers, to another exciting tale of Tuesday Talks. Wouldn't say tale, but, you know, it's a talk show. And this time around, if you look up above me, Bill is not here. Instead, it is our wonderful and actually a draft, aka Belle again.
It's me.
Yeah, which means we are world building on Merosia again.
Whoop whoop. Obviously you all watchers weren't here before we were streaming, but Dave and I were seriously fighting our instincts to begin world building off stream. We'd start up conversations and then we'd be like, no, we've got to save it. We've got to save it until stream.
Way sooner than you could ever possibly imagine.
But yeah.
We're here now. So, and with that, we are going to be building on Let me pull it up. Oh, it's here, but it's not here. Miva. The continent of Miva, which, for those that don't know, is a continent of mystery and supernatural.
It's a continent in the EXP Guild's unique fantasy world of Merosia. Specifically, Miva is kind of where you find more of, would you agree, more of the monster races, more of Indeed. the classic kind of, we got vampires, we got devils, we got demons, we got mummies, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And we got crusaders and tomb raiders all wrapped up in one continent. So
devils, mummies, crusaders, and tomb raiders. They got it all.
Look out.
Just left that on the tourism board.
Exactly. So today we're going to be specifically focusing on one country called Brezonik. Last time we talked about Miklova, which was the Lich Kingdom. This time Brezonik, right here, is what is known as the Monster Country. And to give you an overall concept behind that is basically it is where the monsters and the like can go to, I wouldn't say live in peace, but
if they want to pay taxes to someone, they go to Brezonik. If they're just I kind of want to have a grocery store I can walk into, they go to Brezonik.
Yeah. Brezonik is, Miva in general actually is scattered with ancient ruins, ancient tech, ancient burial sites and the like, because Miva itself was I would say almost ground zero for the Miva meteor. Which trapped the old gods with the new gods, basically. The new gods created this magical ritual that trapped the old gods within, and the old gods used to be... They were at war with each other, but once they realized, or the new gods, once they realized what was going on, eventually the old gods was going to get together and destroy the universe and the world itself.
They wanted to eat the universe like a piece of sashimi. They were like, we're just prepping our little dinner. And then the new gods were like, we can't, our home is dinner, basically. So they trapped the old gods in a meteor that was kind of like a cataclysmic event, killed a bunch of people, absolutely scattered, broke up continents and stuff, absolutely doomsday. And now here we are thousands of years later. Kind of building the countries of the quote modern day. And today we're going to be focusing on Brezonik, which has, I think, it has the most ruins, right?
Not only it has the most ruins, but it has one of the mega cities that was from that age, the Divine Age, which was Krantz.
So all the other mega cities, just to clarify, what really happened to them? Were they just torn down, or were they? I guess from my understanding, Brezonik's population isn't as organized as maybe Myklava. So the old cities that might have been in Myklava were probably torn down for materials or repurposed for the liches that live in that country.
Yeah, for sure.
That stuff isn't really happening in Brezonik.
No. Which means that you're going to get a lot of AKA treasure hunters from Balanwave, which is the country next to it, or crusaders wanting to make, a name for themselves.
Wanting to purify!
Exactly.
Wanting to purify the unholy land, but not wanting to go up against liches. So they're like, we're just gonna go down to the monster country, kill a couple innocents.
Yeah.
I'm not innocents because they're monsters. They can't be innocent.
Yeah. Heaven forbid that family of traveling goblins that just want to be circus performers.
Those farmers. Watch out for those. What's a good monster type?
Gnolls.
Yeah. Those gnolls, they just want to be farmers, man. The crusaders are like, hark, ye evil creatures. And the gnolls are like, eh. And then it's...
Yeah.
So, we're going to be working on Brezonik today. Dave and I were talking a little bit beforehand on what the sort of vibe we wanted for it was. We kind of talked it over and we're like, okay, Brezonik is all about kind of survival. They're a country that is a country because the people within have kind of worked to defend themselves to keep a sense of normalcy. They aren't like Myklava or Balanwave or Constantinosia, where they have like a king or a ruler. Brezonik don't have that.
No. I mean, there is rulers and stuff like that, but I mean, it's a dime a dozen, I mean, just like in real life. Would
it be kind of a little more like a nation of like it is one unified country, but there's more of like an unofficial council of leaders that maybe they meet every once in a while to be like, hey, Constantinosia keeps murdering my dudes.
I mean, as we put it right here, a free for all of monsters and creatures themed like Britain after the Roman collapse. I mean, very similar, almost even before Roman. If you think about like the Celtic societies of like Scotland and Ireland and places of that nature, they might have had a main ruler,
but it was more of an elected thing, or kind of like a ruler by default, in the way where it's like, okay, we need, we're all a bunch of people making these collective decisions, but we do need at least one person to kind of orate the official decision.
So let's go ahead and separate country of Brezonik between all this other stuff that we got going on. So
I'm gonna. Here, do you want me to really?
Just bring it all the way down, because
we're not nuts.
Yeah, we're not focused on the country of Lyri just yet. In our next episode, when we do another one, we will get off into that interesting country.
Here, refresh your page real quick.
Okay. And that's another thing, watchers. Sometimes Bill and my OneNote doesn't like to talk to each other, so I have to constantly refresh. So
I cannot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna put down the bit where it's like they have kind of an official council of leaders. Magoma is. Let's see. Where is Magoma on the map?
Okay, I'll bring it up.
Gracias.
It is actually the capital.
Okay, I think that makes sense, especially since it seems to be kind of farthest from the borders of people who might attack them.
Mm-hmm.
Are the mummies in are the mummy queens in the country below them? Are they like conquestors?
Oh, definitely not. They're more guardians. They're more separated themselves from society, and are more focused. Their initial purpose, actually, in the past, was to bring Overwatch or guardianship to the Miva meteor ship itself to guard against the old gods from getting out. Also to cool down the area, thus the country was born. But yeah, so they're kind of like, you go into their territory, they're going to probably outright kill you.
So it's a little like the TSA.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
You make a wrong move and they kill you on the spot.
Yeah. So
okay.
So there's definitely no, Verena's people not. I mean, there's travel and stuff like that, but not invaders, not a huge army and stuff like that. Unlike Miklova.
Miklova's always up to some shit.
Yeah, and then Lyra is kind of like a mystery again. It was the elven homeland until things went belly up and whatnot, and so weird and unusual things happen within that country.
And then the more normal elves, kind of white, flighted. They're kind of like, ew, we've got all these deep elves coming out. These dirty deep elves. We're going somewhere else.
Yeah, so they completely left the continent altogether for the most part. There's still some that stayed behind, things of that nature. So yeah, Mogomla is kind of all by itself. So
yeah, I mean it's connected to these. Like it looks like Kepek is another ruin.
It is another ruin for sure.
Yuvsk.
Yeah,
is that a ruin?
It is a ruin, yes.
Okay. And then maybe we should...
There's a few ruins that I have yet to label, or haven't gotten around to labeling yet. So
that are maybe a little more abandoned, just because I feel like if they were occupied at one point, that's right in the line of fire for Constantinesia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like that's right there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that many would live very safely there.
I mean, you're probably going to get tribes and the
more like traveling groups. Well, kind of like I think when we were doing Strebby together, we figured out sort of a like a migration pattern.
Yeah, and that's what the
for the tribes. I think that could be
lines are actually.
Oh, okay. So like maybe we can a little later add some of the migrational patterns of like the families or the specific tribes. So we because I feel like the buildings of Brezonik aren't a big priority.
Yeah.
To their occupants. Moguma is probably the most permanent.
Yeah, it is. And then France is kind of like one of those weird, almost post-apocalyptic mega cities that have their own little establishment, but it's more trade and more for...
It's more like a market, probably because... First of all, it's enormous, and there aren't enough people to live there sustainably.
Also, weird supernatural things happen there. One of my characters...
I'm putting that down.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the thing.
Fresh.
And...
There. Oh, it just did. Awesome.
Sweet. Example was one of my characters. His mother and father was archaeologist, and he was, I think his mother was 6 months pregnant with him, or 2 months pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to Krantz, something happened, and suddenly he was born. So
okay, so
it's
like kind of cursed.
Yeah. Because it's all the leftover stuff that happened during the Divine Age happened during,
So I guess what did Krantz used to be? Let's kind of, I think the best way that we can kind of fill out what's going on in the cities in the modern times is to figure out what these cities served as in ye olden times.
Yeah. The best thing to do, right? Go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking like if Krantz is like the one that has all these supernatural things with it, was it a center for like a magical kind of storage where like the old gods had their guys doing research, or was it like or did it have like, was it really famous for like a prison system where like magical prisoners were?
Yeah, I don't think it might have been that, but I think it might have been because right now, this is the chaotic age for all those that don't know. And I've labeled where the regions where the old gods used to be located. And right now, Krantz is located within the region of Kasara.
Right on the border of Babum and Kazira.
Yeah.
So Babum, he's the listening guy.
Yeah, he's knowledge.
Kazira's like a war girl.
Sort of. I mean, we can.
She's like a punisher. She's like, I can. If you want, I can pull it up so we can stay on.
Yeah. Okay.
This page. Yeah. Scrolling up. Okay, Kazira, Scourge of Redemption, Demon Succubus. There's not really much else other than she was the last old god to be sealed in the Mifa meteor. Kazira managed to barely disrupt the sealing ritual. As a result, the seal on the meteor became impermanent, hence why the old gods can speak through their shards.
Yeah.
So she's kind of... Babum, listener of all, elephant-looking creature, no eyes, with ears over its body in various places, arms stretched out with ears on palms, legs crossed, sitting. So it's kind of like you've got this. I would say that Kazira is the war kind of one out of all of them, and Babum is a little more espionage, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. He's
got the walls have ears, literally. And
then Enlil was
Enlil reaching over to Krantz though?
It was.
He was? Okay.
Yeah.
So then Enlil is just the enlightened ball of energy and light, embodiment of energy. Not necessarily a conscious being. Kind of just like pure energy.
So technically we could put Krantz in that zone of it was the city that combined all three together.
Okay. I think that's a really, like, it was kind of like this alliance city. Because if they're all on the same continent, sure they're fighting, but I feel like would they, here's my question, do they have some sort of like uneasy alliance between each other?
Yeah,
okay.
It's almost that weird Cold War thing going on.
Okay. So they were kind of Cold Warring each other. In the meantime, okay. I'm gonna do in the divine.
If you want to put it in old school D&D alignment concepts, basically Enlil would be good, Kasira would be evil, and Babum would be neutral.
Krantz was the hub of alliance between the old gods, Kasira. I'm not sure if I'm spelling that right. Kazira.
All right. We can change it later.
Yep. And Enlil. So, what do we... I feel like these guys... Babum's more of a listener. He's not a technology guy, is he?
Well, I mean, back then it was... Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'm kind of trying to think of, like... were they designing war machines, or were they doing more like kind of like experimental magics?
Yeah, definitely experimental magics and the like. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, because it was the age of taking the next step, because before that was the Inuitic age. The land was pure magic, pure everything, so then the old gods came and disrupted that, but they brought their own technologies and stuff like that to balance everything out. And definitely for a fact that they took it to the new step with combining both technology and magic together, I think. So
Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. Miva meteor hits.
yeah.
With these old gods sealed up, what happens to this experimental magic that's going on there? Because it could be as simple as like, oh well, it was used up in the ensuing age of chaos, or it could be like the experimental magic was in some way tied to the old gods. So when the old gods kind of disappeared, something went wrong, like there was a catastrophic failure.
Yeah, I think so.
So what could have gone wrong? And how would that have really just cursed and fucked up the city? I think, unlike the other cities, which I think will have kind of depopulated slowly-ish, medium slowly, like people in Capek, they obviously cleared out after the meteor hit, but it wasn't like, bam, everyone's gone.
Yeah,
it was like,
sure.
Over the course of 10 years, the space became abandoned. I feel like there should be a really big something to happen with Krantz.
So we know for a fact that the Miva meteor hit basically in the land of Enlil. And
that's an immediate failure of the power source.
Yeah, I mean, it was centered around its capital and whatnot. So Krantz would be the second city, maybe the sister city of Enlil's capital, where the three major deities had come together and, have the meeting and whatnot. So maybe Kansira's last push happened in Krantz? Her curse upon the new gods?
Okay. I think the way that we'd written it, I like that idea. I think the way that we'd written it is that in the sealing process, like it was a part of the origin story for some of the new gods, where it was kind of like there were these two new gods that were in love with each other, and they were both worshippers of Kansira. So when they stood against her, Kansira's final kind of FU was like, you like being together so much? Fine, I'm putting you in the same body. And that weakened the power of the number of people focusing on the spell because of the sudden shift. Would the new gods have done this ritual in Krantz, considering that it's a big focus point for 3 of the old gods?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they would have done the ritual somewhere else. But Kansira did her own ritual. And that ritual happened in Krantz.
Okay. So Kansira's final, I'm just gonna do this very colloquially, FU happened in.
And as mentioned, it was the catalyst that brings in the present day the old gods being able to talk to
Mm-hmm.
Their
To be able
patrons and whatnot.
to not be like completely on mute.
Yeah. So maybe it was a shard ritual that she was doing or something like that. And it didn't
Or
quite
maybe
get finished.
would it have been a shard ritual if they didn't like did they know what was coming? Or was it kind of like, haha, funny meteor, we're old gods, we don't care. And then the meteor hits and it's like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Here's an idea. We're talking experimental magics. What were the limitations of the old gods' powers that they would have wanted to enhance by being, like, by kind of doing this research and experimentation in Krantz? And we can think about it in terms of communication, too, where it's like, the old gods, they're huge, almost omnipotent beings, but they have to like be in person to talk to each other, like that sort of thing. Like they can't do this psychic communication thing with each other like they do to their followers.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be. So I know that we talked about before a little bit on the other old gods and how like an old god like Ishtar Ibi, like he'd maybe heard whispers about what the new gods were going to do, but he was kind of arrogant where he's like, oh, those stupid little ants, it'll be really fun to watch them try. And his arrogance is kind of why things weren't caught up on earlier. With this alliance, would Babam have heard not exactly the plan, but have kind of heard like, okay, maybe we need to strengthen ourselves in a certain area.
Yeah.
So then it's obviously it's Babam doing the espionage, Kazira creating the kind of ritual, and then Enlil probably just providing the energy because that's what Enlil does.
I think out of all three of them, Enlil would be the least in the loop.
Yeah.
I think Kasira. I think Babam actually found a way to maybe use Enlil's power
without Enlil knowing.
Without
kind
Enlil
of
knowing.
found like a little outdoor outlet and then just kind of like plugged in an extension cord and snaked it back over to Krantz.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to with Ash of Babam. Zira was able to formulate. It was probably a general protection ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kazira, she's also kind of a magic girly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that kind of final like protection thing. I wonder what kind of creepy shit we can do with the long-term effects of that ritual.
Oh wow. Lots. I said lots.
Like, of course, but since we now kind of see it as a protection ritual, specifically for the old gods, I'm guessing that Kazira and Babam probably would have had the strongest. Like they would have been first in on the pyramid scheme, so they get the best cut of protection. But they include all of their siblings just to,
So real quick,
yeah.
Thank you for the follow. Just sorry if I say your name wrong. Just 808. Thank you for the follow.
Ah, muchas gracias.
Yeah, and Jacothy, me and them have been talking with each other, so I am filling them on our Time Museum show. So
oh yes.
Yeah, and basically I'll just say it outright. You can find part 1 and part 2 of that show below in the highlights section in our Twitch.
It's really fun.
That's where we keep all our unedited videos at presently. If you want our edited videos, then you can jump over on our YouTube channel and see those without all the weirdnesses of, unediting or edited, however you want to say. So, yeah.
Okay. So, now that we know that it's kind of a protection spell, how can we, really bastardize what a protection spell is going to do? Or what was this protection spell's cost? Ooh. I think that protection spell killed everyone in Krantz. I think that...
Just sucked them dry.
Absolutely sucked the life out of them, because it would have been a site of magical significance, so there would have been a ton of powerful followers and wizards and stuff there, just ripe for the picking. Ooh, I've got it. Okay, so they do the protection spell beforehand, right? They don't know when the meteor is going to come. They're not going to wait last minute. They do it. Not much happens, just kind of poof, protection spell. But then the meteor hits.
Yeah.
And the protection spell activates. And it's kind of, Enlil isn't there to be the energy source, because that was always the intention. So this kind of formula in place looks for another energy source, and what do you know? It's got a city just full of magical energy sources. So, in that kind of vacuum of Enlil not being there, it just absolutely, everyone just... It's like in the Avengers, where it's the snap. Everyone is just dead.
So, my brain got to going. I thought I wouldn't have to open D&D Beyond, but I might have to open D&D Beyond.
Here you go.
Because... we have and I don't remember the name of them. We have a distinct species that we created for Merosia. My homebrew, I think it is. Yes, there they are. And that species... Oh, went too far. Oh, no, it wasn't them? The Zorb.
Oh, yeah. I think we talked about that passively as also potentially being what happens to... So there are no Kinder.
No.
In Merosia at the moment. But we'd kind of passively talked about the Kinder being turned into the Zorb.
Well, the way we have it written down right now is the Children of the Meteor, or Meteorite Folk, are two other names they go by. No one is for sure how they came about, but they have the powers of the uncorrupted meteor that fell from the heavens, trapping the old deities within. As it hit the earth and buried deep within, they can negate magic on all levels, and to the point where their non-magical attacks can do damage to those immune to such. What if they were tied in?
Maybe? I'm not sure. Here's my thought. This protection spell, it was protecting the old gods.
Yeah.
In that case, why would its victims imitate the effects of the old gods' cage?
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Never mind then. Just a thought.
It was an interesting thought, and I think we can definitely... I feel like the Zorb do live in Brezonik.
Yeah.
They probably mostly live in Perak, but I think this is an opportunity to show them. Could you read out loud the Twitch chats as they come along, so I can also respond to you?
Sorry. Now, Jagathy says, I can't help myself. I still read it as France.
France. Welcome to France.
Yeah, no.
Oui, Paris.
I think... I think the question comes to my brain is, what level of dead are we talking about? Like, did they become something else after they died?
I think that this spell, I don't think they're going to be zombies, and I don't think they're going to be ghosts.
Okay.
Just because I'm thinking of this spell as like not only sapping the spiritual energy of these people, but like the fact that it was supposed to be Enlil was supposed to be the power source for this.
Yeah.
The spell was like, I need to get energy from anywhere. So it like freaking liquefied and like completely consumes like biological mass as well. If there are any like antimatter type things, or like reflections or memories or shadows, I think those could be the occupants of the now abandoned city. I think shadows would certainly be a very eerie kind of thing.
Definitely, negative energy replace the positive energy, thus creating these apparitions of just, they would be almost like ghosts, but not.
But they don't even have like a soul. Like, they've been so destroyed.
Yeah.
So,
which we could create our own versions of this negative energy. So.
Okay. I think we can, if we want to say it like poetically, it could be like, the spell used everything as fuel except for the shadows.
Yeah.
Because shadows are blocked energy. Yeah. Basically, when stuff blocks light. And it doesn't want that.
Yeah. Create our own version of that, though. Because shadows are actually in D&D and they mean something else. So, or something similar. But yeah, I think it should be a higher form of that particular undead entity. I think it's almost like watching holographic movies,
I was thinking that too. I was thinking like there's like this there's almost like this weird hologram of shadow people in certain areas of the city that are kind of going through the motions of what they were doing, like kind of like that rewind of like a day before the event.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something where like if those shadow people are interrupted, if they are provoked, like they just absolutely like, I feel like they probably, this is kind of like an out there reference. You haven't seen Steven Universe, have you?
I have. I have not seen all of it, but I've seen like bits and pieces, so.
Do you know the cluster?
Not right offhand, no.
Basically, the cluster was bits of shattered gems that were kind of fused together physically, like forced to be together. And they were in constant pain, and they're kind of like this big monster. I'm thinking that, like, if these things are disturbed in, like, whatever area they're kind of focused occupying, rewinding, they all kind of together into, like, this super concentrated, like, just, it's basically like the embodiment of, like, the terror of hundreds of people kind of lashing out at anything that disturbs its routine.
Yeah, for sure. You want me to read the next?
Oui.
Okay, Jagrathy says, I'd straight up make the Starship Warden from the TTRPG of the same name crash into the city instead of the asteroid and let the crew live there now. I can't get darker than that. So the way Merosia has been built over the years, it is centered around a Miva meteor ritual that the new gods did to trap the old gods within. For the new old gods was believed to be the ultimate power of almost Cthulhian, esque beings, and they warred with each other. But once the 9 was brought together, they were believed to destroy entire universes, eat things, just eat everything. And the new gods basically caught wind of that and were like, hey, I don't want to die. I don't want my followers to die. And so they band together and brought this Miva meteor down to trap them within. So that's the ultimate story of Merosia. But no, I was thinking on that lines of, do we want Nectel to be involved?
Nectel doesn't live around here.
He doesn't, but maybe his minions or whatnot caught wind of that.
I'm not sure if we characterized Nectel as that proactive. He's kind of like mindless starvation, isn't he?
He is.
Like, he can think to a certain extent. But I thought he was a little more focused up near the Four Nations, kind of like the north.
He was, yeah. Okay, so we can leave him out.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe in later decades, Nectel's followers head down there just because of the way that we framed Nectel, who is like this god of hunger and starvation and just like the undead. His followers, their goal is to collect Nectel's shards, and B, destroy the shards of other old gods.
Yeah.
They're actually the only they are one of the few who can fully destroy these Miva meteor shards.
Yeah. And once again, thank you, Jacothy, for following us.
Thank you. We've got this old time stuff. We've got the result of this old time stuff with like the shadow. I'm saying like the boroughs of the city. We've got these like shadow monsters. Where is safe? Where are these merchants setting up?
I think okay, so let's go back to our map.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think they're going to be right on the edge of where Krantz and on the side of Dungerstone.
So kind of like right on the edge of that Drollback Call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where they're located. Trading with the people of Ballenway and stuff, because the people from Ballenway are looking for artifacts, looking for old technology, looking for anything that they can grab a hold of. And
Krantz was absolutely full of that stuff.
Yeah. And worthy monsters are like wanting to make a name for themselves, wanting to profit from, whatever they want to profit from, to make a better life for themselves. So what better place to set up shop with?
So they've set up, the market of Krantz is set up on the very edge of the city, on the side that faces the roll call mountain range and the Thunderstone. I think it's I feel like it's very much framed as like there are two types of people that go to Krantz. The very desperate, like people who are like kind of more like scrappers, or kind of like adventure tourism. Because I feel like besides the shadow people, there's probably not much going on in Krantz.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
there are like old curses that are in place. Like the place is falling apart, of course, but like unlike Ballenway, which is like you're in the jungle and there's a poisonous wasp and there are 12 tribes of things trying to kill you, and also it's cursed. In Krantz, it's kind of like, yeah, it's cursed and there are shadow people, But besides that, it's kind of empty.
Yeah. So I'm going to go into our chat to kind of continue this thought process. Gregor's Man says, do the citizens of Krantz use something to keep the shadows at bay? Or are the shadows bound to where they died? They also said, Krantz is great if you avoid the shadow people. 5 stars on TripAdvisor. For sure. Well, I think...
yeah. 4.5 out of 5. Food could have been better.
No, I think there's also, I mean, people would have known that there was something going on. Would have seen the Miva meteor, would have been alerted to like this big flaming ball out of the sky is coming for us and we can't do anything about it. I think they would have did the whole prepper thing, for certain parts of Krantz, would have hunkered down and thought they could survive under magical barriers for
the whole day.
Yeah.
So there weren't many people who were walking about, going to the market.
I mean, I think it would have been a mix of everything, like New York City, for the most part. Mm-hmm. You would have had people partying, hey, this is the last day that we're surviving, let's live it to the fullest, to people that are we're going to survive this if we dig 400 feet underneath the earth, and
Right. And that could offer some fun play opportunities for players where they enter the city. There are certain areas of shadow people, but with some shadow people you gotta pretend to be crunk, absolutely off your rocker partying. Mm-hmm. And with some shadow people, you gotta I feel for the preppers it's harder to pretend.
Yeah. Well, also, Gregor Menz says maybe some people also assumed it would be the perfect time to commit crimes. For sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That. So in some parts of the city, it can be total chaos. You walk into a war zone,
Yeah. So that makes me wonder if we can split these kinds of shadow people into 3 groups. Where it's partiers, preppers, and looters.
Yeah.
Kind of the different kinds of zombies in The Last of Us.
I think we could do it in 4. I think because I think there's also the guardians, the police, that was, the guardian, those that the military of Krantz, back in the day, trying to make sure everybody was safe, trying to make sure people would go to their shelters and stuff like that. So I think we would have, the partiers, the live it to its fullest, the criminal element, the authority, and then the
preppers.
The preppers, so the mage that, had various traps built into a shop to ensure that, his cat would survive,
Oh my god! And then there's a shadow cat.
There's a shadow cat. So,
I feel there can be so many dead ends in this city where it's there's a ton of traps over in this building, and we might either find a priceless artifact at the end, or it might be all of this mage's pornography.
Yeah. Or
because it's very difficult probably to distinguish what is guarding something valuable and what isn't.
Yeah, you just don't know. I mean, it could be this old lady's, walking stick, and it's just a walking stick. It was nothing.
You could probably get a lot of really good cursed weaponry too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially if we follow along that lines of, because the ritual would have been sapping the good energy out of things. So some of these artifacts and whatnot could have flipped. They once were powerful, relics of, awesomeness that just suddenly went one way or another. So
Their battery died and they went evil.
Yeah, essentially.
They sapped all the good battery, and then there was a secret evil battery that popped up, the backup generator.
My brain went to, could you imagine on a lonely street, you hear cymbals clapping.
An evil marching band.
And no, and you see wheeling across an evil Energizer Bunny.
No, that could be really fun though. That could be like it was like an it was like a Chuck E. Cheese type shit.
Yeah,
you can have so much fun with like that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So Germans continues by saying, have you guys checked out Dungeons oh good god, Dragonheim? Similar concept to Trance, but instead of shadow people, it was mutations. Haven't checked them out just yet.
I think we've got something going on in Miklova.
We do.
Like Masika, her stuff is full of mutations.
Yeah. And then it continues by saying secret evil battery sounds like a magic item. Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like that's definitely, I feel like in the future we can kind of have something where like, if you get a cursed item from Krantz, they do need like, we're not going to call them evil batteries, but they do need like this specific anti-magic power source. Just because I think that like if these artifacts spend too much time outside of Krantz, things are going to start equalizing. It's a vacuum of power kind of. So like the natural energy of wherever it goes is going to kind of flood in and neutralize the object. Which is a plus for some people, but like when it comes for like research and stuff, if someone wants to research an ancient artifact that's been corrupted, you can probably determine like, hey, this is what this used to do.
Yeah.
From what it does in its like evil battery form.
Yeah, sure. Greg continues by saying they have wireless charging.
They do. It's a lot of Bluetooth. They've got a lot of Bluetooth compatible stuff, but it's evil Bluetooth, so it's red tooth.
Yeah. Known as the Red Eye.
The Red Eye! Red Eye compatible.
Yeah, Red Eye compatible.
Okay.
Has a weird, like, bent sound when it turns itself on.
Oh, it's like a dying battery, like, children's toy.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. I love it.
Well, if you've ever run into those ice cream trucks that play was it Pop Goes the Weasel, but it's like twisted and this is hello.
Yeah. This whole place is just a broken down ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I need to refresh? I think I need to refresh.
I think since Krantz is so empty,
yeah,
I feel like we don't really need to add much other than like it's enormous.
Yeah, and I think
it's like New York empty.
Later on, me being me, there's going to be a map. And there's going to be definitely, districts and stuff like that of like where things used to be, because people would know, where Brooklyn was at, where, like in New York, but they wouldn't know exactly. Well, they wouldn't know exactly what would be there now,
right.
If it was, but they would definitely know the because it would have been passed on, from generations of like.
I wonder if an additional thing about this artifact is that, like, the spell, if it was still a little active for like 1,000 years afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, if it was like for 1,000 years after the meteor hit, you step in to Krantz, you're dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a good question though for in modern day Merosia. Greg says, has wildlife moved back into Krantz?
I think it has, and I think because of the fact is that Brezonik is a lot less hospitable than like Balinway, for example.
Yeah.
I think we've got a lot of weird tame versions of like minor monsters.
Yeah.
Like these minor monsters were able to move in.
Well,
like mindless kind of monsters.
Well, not
like you've got a tame,
unintelligent,
like a tame slime.
Yeah, well, unintelligence. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. So you would have weird pockets of this. I mean, that's where mutations could come about too, like mutated plants and weird, areas that are just like simply weirdly magical in the enhanced.
Or maybe not mutated. Let's say evolved. Because, if you think about it, like, I think that these shadow people are so sensitive that if, like, that tree isn't partying right, they're gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah.
Like, they're so sensitive to that sort of stuff. So, the trees that survive are ones that have some kind of cloaking thing going on from the shadow people.
So, Greg makes a good point, which I've said a few times. Are you putting together a book or wiki with all this world building? I'd love to have a read at some point. So what me and Bill initially wanted to do is make Merosia the world setting book and stuff like that. Eventually get a Kickstarter going, so on and so forth. But yeah, a wiki might be interesting in the future. I will have to talk to him about it, and then we will have to put our brain power together and have Belle help us.
It can probably be like this stuff that we're putting down here, like on the locations in Merosia page. That can be the wiki, and then like the stuff in the book is the actual like Constantinesia armor and weapons, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it will be, but it will be also. We haven't quite decided on what game system we were going to be using here in the future either, because due to the falafel, thing that happened with WotC. We may or may not stick with 5e. We're definitely not just going to stick with 5e D&D wise, I don't think. But we're looking at several other either 5e clones or possibly. I don't think we're going to do our own game system, but we may. It'll be very similar to 5e if we do our own game system. But we are also looking at. We're on the edge of looking at the Critical Role one, Dragon Blood, I think it's called, or something like that. Basically, everything is going to be revealed apparently at Gen Con. Is when everybody's doing their playtesting and doing all that fun stuff. So after that, hopefully we'll get more information, find out what's up, so I feel that switched all of my games over over to Pathfinder 2e. So
I also think that with at least the world building stuff specific to like the countries and the locations, that stuff can be pretty cross-disciplinary.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's another thing that I don't know if anybody has checked out our drive-through RPG stuff lately, but we've kind of been going in that agnostic route where you can like pick that up and use it for anything, which I mean, we're still kind of leaning toward that, because that way you don't have to worry about what game system this belongs to. You can just go, oh, this is a really cool world setting. Let me use it for, whatever game system you're going to be using it for. So,
So I think we've kind of got Krantz right now. Krantz is empty. Its history is what's more important. We've kind of set up what kind of magical stuff is going on in there. Let's sneak a peek at the map and see where we should do next.
And I think, and watchers, if y'all want to pick another area within Brezonik, please feel free.
Yeah.
Which we've already got Krantz down. We got Kapek, Yuvsk. Sorry.
I don't know. You named it.
I know. Actually, technically, Fantasy Name Generator helped me, as well as Google Translate. So, put those two together, add a few vowels and syllables and whatnot, then you got a name. So
we can also, if the name becomes too difficult to say, we can also change her up a little bit.
We've talked about it between the three of us, and it is an agreement that we're changing some names on the map. So but yeah, so if y'all have any ideas, if y'all would like, exactly, or add a hyphen, that usually helps. Yep, exactly. So, but yeah, watchers, if y'all have a place on the map that in Brezonik that y'all would like us to do next, please let us know in chat. Other than that, I guess me and Belle could roll a d6 and figure out which is next. But before we do that, I think this is so far.
I say we get one more city out of the way before we take our halfway break.
You think? Well, I mean, it's already almost halfway there. We
always go longer.
We do. Okay. So we got one vote for roll. So
I say we roll, man.
Okay, so
let's just roll the dice.
1 to 2 is Magoma.
3 to 4, Yuvsk.
And 5 to 6,
Capek.
Okay.
Roll.
Okay, so I'm officially. So I'll do this online. I will pull up the 3D dice roller.
Wrong one.
Yeah. No. Ignore that dice. Let me change. Let me change dice here. Actually, I don't want to get rid of it because I designed that dice. So let me get rid of these. These are generics. We'll add a d6. Okay, here we go, guys. 4.
We're doing Yuvsk.
No. There we go.
3. We're doing Yuvsk.
You're doing Yuvsk. So there we go.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at this little picture that we have. It looks a lot smaller.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Than Krantz and Magoma and that unnamed city up there, even Capek. I feel like Yuvsk, that space was probably like, what was she? She was in the center. That could be, let's look at the Divine Age picture, because that could have been, it wouldn't have been a capital, because that looks far too small. We could make it a former and current holy site.
Oh, definitely.
Because I feel like the peoples of Brezonik, because they're kind of disconnected, I think it would be interesting if the peoples of Brezonik, on large, didn't worship the old gods. Because I feel like the old gods wouldn't have been any nicer to them than the modern deities would have. I think that in Yuvsk, we've probably got a couple different types of denominations. I think we've got, regular new god worshippers who are kind of worshipping in a druidic way. And then maybe like demonic worshippers, maybe people who kind of defer to someone like Vetriano. And then you were pointing.
So what if? Okay, so yes on all fronts. It's a holy site, so on and so forth. But what if it was based initially before? What if it was a way stop, a place that had fresh water, had fresh abundance of food, whether it be crops growing or wildlife or whatever, and then it became a holy site to stop over, between Magoma and Krantz, and because it's in the center of Brezonik, so
abundant food, etc. I feel like right now, additionally, what it's kind of become is probably a little more druidic. They're right on the Greywood.
Yeah.
Or would that be more Capek? I feel like Yuvsk, they're on the outside of the Greywood, but they're also closer to the center. Capac is a little close to the Mummy Lands, I think.
Yeah.
So they probably would be more. They'd be a little less like save the trees.
I think Capac's more of a rangery outpost, than anything, and Yusk is more of the whole. We are a druidic holy site that So Greg says maybe in canon that the people of Yusk also don't know how to say it properly, so it has like 3 different pronunciations. Yeah, absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, also different dialects, because you have a gaggle of different species.
Different species with like... you've got species like, if there are any sentient slimes, those guys don't have tongues. They're gonna be like doing some weird like diaphragm stuff to make noises. Like... Nobody knows where the name Yusk came from.
Like when people say, oh god, you're gonna make me say a British thing. Like when people say Hertfordshire in the UK.
Hertfordshire.
Yes, I probably butchered that name, but
Billy's gonna kill you.
I know. Oh, I know.
Billy's gonna find you and stab you Britishly.
Okay. Well, Greg is also from the UK too, so...
You're also going to stab us, Greg. Please, we deserve it. Please stab us. Put us out of our misery. So Yusk is a druidic conclave. They are... He says, sips tea, British. British.
Sips tea in British. So...
It's true, that's all we need. They're probably really connected to the Greywood. Oh, you've got some Ents. You've got some like tree people.
Exactly.
Is a druidic conclave dedicated to protecting the
Jackie says, "A, where did you say you're from? B, you've skin. Give me a piece of paper."
I feel like there's like there's a differing like people put like I feel like there's a little like not like apostrophe and people put it in different places.
Yeah,
like it's Yvusk or like Yovsk or and it's spelled so differently.
So in Texas is where I am. I literally was sitting in a Mexican restaurant, and some redneck hillbilly lady said, "Y'all got any of them fajitas? I need some fajitas." And
give me some fajitas, bro. I need the fajitas.
So, yeah.
So it's a kind of fajita situation, is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Absolutely. From the watchers and from me, yeah, I think so. Because, like I said, Brezonik is a soup bowl of different species, of different races, of different monsters, all having their own yeah. So. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our little write-up here, and then we will go ahead and do the whole...
True people pronounce the name the same. I also think that the thing about Yuvsk is that it can also be like a sound type thing. Like when you punch someone, it's like Yuvsk! Like, nobody knows where it comes from. The city's name the same. Okay, so we've got a lot of like treants. I'd say that maybe like there's like an ancient treant that runs Yuvsk.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Now, mind you, we also got to take into consideration that a lot of the present day Miva has been corrupted because of the leaking of the Miva meteor essences and whatnot. So,
right. But I will say that, like, if a treant is running a druidic society, it's not going to be as corrupted as maybe the guys roaming around in the actual Greywood.
No, yeah, for sure. But maybe they have a bent. Maybe they have a shtick of some
What's
sort.
their shtick? What's their stick? What's this tree's stick?
What's the tree stick? So here's my question. Is youth still? I would assume that youth is on the down low now, as far as having abundance of.
Oh yeah, if they have it, they're not flaunting it because they're the closest civilized, like, city to, like, Constantinosia or Miklova or Balanway. And sure, Balanway people, they're gonna get distracted by Krantz. But if the Constantinosia, like, thugs, hear that they've got, these horrible, dirty monsters have abundance, we need to go steal that from them, you know? So I think that Yuvsk is a deeply, like, everyone in Brezonik, every monster occupant in Brezonik knows about it. Either there's a cultural understanding of we will die before we share the knowledge of this place, or there is some sort of magic going on.
So here's my thought.
Okay.
So yes. So maybe it's all the combinations of what you mentioned, but maybe that treant to share this little bit of, you know, the Garden of Eden with people. They want something in trade.
Well, of course they do.
Like, bring me your plants, bring me your seeds, bring me your, you know.
Okay.
From afar.
So, the ancient treant, I'm just gonna call it a druid for now.
Yeah.
Druid in Flora trades. I feel like there's also, it's kind of like a commune thing where it's like, if you want to, I feel like you could really, this might be so out of character for the rest of Brezonik, but it sounds like this could be kind of like a very practical southern kind of place where it's like, want to eat, you gotta work.
Oh yeah, like, well, not only that, I mean, well, not even really southern, I mean, it just old school
barter, very barter.
Yeah, well, I mean, even like, I mean, because when you immediately went into that, I was thinking Amish. But, you know, you could even be that whole weird... Yeah, it'd be a commune of sorts of, you know, if you come to this place, you've got to... And maybe that's the shtick. Maybe he won't let you leave.
Until you've kind of worked off. I feel like there's also this treant. I feel like what we can really do with this treant is he recognizes the difference between plant and animal, but he kind of has this more black and white perspective of helping people, like very quid pro quo, where it's like, if I water and feed you, you are going to metaphorically bear fruit. You're going to do something equally. I mean, that's just kind of basic, like, quid pro quo, though. He could let people leave. I feel like... Oh, okay. Yuvsk provides a lot of food for the rest of Brezonik. I'm gonna put that down. Food of... I think there is a stipulation where if you eat the food that is grown in Yuvsk, you're kind of in this, I wouldn't call network, but eating it kind of puts you in a contract where you can't talk about Yusk.
Oh, yeah.
If you stumble upon it, if you are shown it, you can't talk about it to anyone who is not in this system. And then there's this also inherent, like, stopgap of, like, you eat the food of Yusk, you can't fucking hurt Yusk.
So what happens in Yusk stays in Yusk?
Yes, exactly.
So
this is the bread bowl, basically. Eats food.
And not necessarily bread bowl, but maybe they, tubers and roots and stuff that's
a metaphor thing, Dave. A bread bowl means an area that, like...
No, I know, but I meant, like, as far as, like, actuality, it could be,
It's probably a lot of tree fruit, too. They probably aren't doing any, like, big crops, like fields crops.
But I was thinking a lot of stuff could be underground. It's what was, like, funguses and various things of,
How would I do that? Like a network, a contract, work is able to.
Yeah, person who eats fruit grown and used is unable to.
Harm the citizens or structures of while in the borders. 2 is unable to.
I think it's kind of not a, like, you're magically inclined to do that. I think it's like a written thing, or
it's illegal.
Not like written, but like, hearsay, as far as, you eat, here's the consequences, if you go burn down the church, after you've done,
I mean, the church is the forest, I feel.
Yeah, but, after you shared a meal with us, and maybe the punishment, my brain just went off, maybe the main punishment, that's what becomes where the twistedness becomes here. The main punishment is you are stuck on a stake like a scarecrow and stuck out in the middle of a field.
See, I was thinking more of we could go with, like, existential horror, where it's like you like break the law in Yusk, you are buried up to your knees and you become a fucking tree. You join the Greywood.
Yeah. Well, maybe we have different levels of punishment.
Different levels, yeah.
So
I feel like those two are at the same. Like the scarecrow thing is probably like a temporary punishment.
Yeah.
Range from being used.
How about this? The scarecrow one.
Yeah.
Is for those that did not commit murder.
I think that's good. I'm not sure if... I'm thinking of this from the perspective of the tree ant. Would the tree ant want a tree in the Greywood that it protects to have formerly been a murderer?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, okay, never mind then.
I feel like murderers... They're just, like, chopped up and used as literal fertilizer.
Yeah, okay.
The Greywood thing, I feel like being turned into a part of the Greywood, it's less of a punishment and more of an end-of-life ritual.
Yeah, let's do it that way, for sure. End of life.
Okay.
You go to the Greywood.
At the end of a person's life, or they die, They are buried up to their knees in the soil of the gray wood and become a tree. We can just enhance on that later.
Yeah, I mean, we can fill it out, or I think my brain keeps on going to murders and whatnot. Form of punishment is simple. Not so much chopped up into fertilizer, is that you're just simply fed to the pigs.
Yeah. It's so, I don't think they don't even make a big deal out of it. I don't think there's a big dramatic this is your execution. It's just kind of guy murdered. Okay, take him out to the pigs.
Yeah.
I feel like Yuvsk pigs are, you know how there are mega fauna?
Oh,
I think Yuvsk pigs are mega fauna, where there's the regular sloth and the giant sloth. We've got mega pig. Got mega pig.
And they're more boar-like than something from some ancient German forest or whatnot, But yeah, definitely giant boars type style pigs.
Oh my god, and I'm just thinking of all the cool aesthetic possibilities. These pigs are for sure used to help till the earth. They find these giant mushrooms and stuff that are being harvested. They people ride them. I feel like everyone has at least one pig. Yeah. Everyone that lives there.
Well, they have
my god.
Well, not so much ride them. I don't think they should ride them. I think that they have special carts. Like those little, enclosed.
I was thinking, how big are we thinking of these pigs being? Because I was thinking elephant.
Oh no. So let me go back to D&D Beyond and look up giant pig. I should not sign out. I should just stay signed in. Let's see here. Going into Thingy-Mabob and looking it up. Giant. I should have signed in giant boar. Boar. Pig. Yep, giant boar. So they are considered large. Large creature is 10 foot by 10 foot. So in space-wise, so they're at the shoulders would be 10 foot high. So yeah, pretty good.
Could be a small elephant. Could be a rhino.
I mean, yeah, basically rhino size is what they would be, essentially.
Or absolutely horrifying to go up against. Another reason why nobody goes up against Yuvsk.
I mean, they're considered what is that thing? A CR rating, a challenge rating of 2. So,
and that's just one at a time. They've got these. Yuvsk is just, everyone's got one. They can definitely be.
Yeah,
swarmed.
I mean, if you're going with D&D Beyond, or not D&D Beyond, but if you're going with 5e, I mean, a giant boar, armor class of 12, has 42 hit points, has a movement speed of 40, which means they can outrun you. Unless if you're like a thief that has bonus actions and stuff like that,
Or a monk.
Yeah. I mean, they have a charge ability. And they are relentless, which means recharge after a short or long rest. If a boar takes 10 damage or less, that would reduce it to 0. It is reduced to 1 hit point instead.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and then they get a +5 to attack you, of which their tusks do 2d6 plus 3 slashing damage.
That's so bad.
Yeah, so that's just one. So
yeah, this place is for sure defended.
So that's their defenders, the boars, the boars of Yuvsk. Which is kind of cool.
Would they be sacred animals as well?
Oh, absolutely. They've come from the Grey Wood.
Oh, of course, yeah. I also feel like the Greywood, how have we characterized it? Would it be something difficult to navigate? And with that in mind, would there be a boon to having a Yusk boar with you, since they are of the Greywood? Or is it more of like a terrain advantage?
So if you scroll up in the Miva thing, or you continue writing, I'll scroll up instead.
Yeah.
So if we scroll up in Miva, we actually have the Greywood written right here. Greywood region, after crossing no man's land from the land-locked side of this nation. A bleak and dark force that is questionably alive itself.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I think that the boar, like, it's less of like I'm tracking through the forest, I know paths, and it's probably a little more like, this frickin' boar can just tear through a tree, like it goes in a straight line. But because of its connection to the Greywood and because of its size.
Yeah. I'm seeing visions of Studio Ghibli right now. So
we can put in here that Yusk is kind of like this. It can be Ghibli-esque.
Yeah. I think it's almost, it is very borderline that Ghibli-esque feel to it. So more on the darker side of Ghibli-esque.
There we go. Ghibli-esque. Very just like beautiful nature. Like somehow they've made this very gray kind of drab space just seem very ethereal and beautiful.
Yeah.
I think probably the reason that not many people, like, I think everyone that lives here is some form of religious.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not technically a requirement.
No.
But I think that Yusk would be kind of unbearable to someone who isn't very religious just because of their whole vibe.
It reminds me of, it's got a very, well, maybe Tibetan, but now I'm starting to see maybe very Hindu almost, where they have a very,
maybe,
I don't know, not on that level though. I don't think they do big celebrations, massive, I think it's more of the inner peace. So I guess
there's got to be. There's a lot of like. I think that's Buddhism. You're thinking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like disconnecting from material things. They're a little more like. They're a little more like it is what it is, and that's not necessarily a path that everyone wants to follow.
No.
I think that it's kind of common for people from Algoma to do a summer in Yvesk.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, let's go drink, fine wine and,
Let's go drink fine wine. Let's do a little bit of like work, like a little, like kind of like a rustic geteway.
Yeah. Let's go rest our feet after work in the pond that has little fishies that eat,
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe it's very nature, Buddhist, pagan. It's a hippie commune, essentially.
Hippie commune. Okay, Dave, I think this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if we can't talk about this on stream. How much weed is grown in Yusk? Because I think that, like, you said that they grow a little bit of everything. The head tree ant trades in that sort of stuff. How hippie do we want to go with this?
Oh, I think it is a very strong drug culture for sure. That would be one of their main things they trade in is
for
drugs.
sure mushrooms and shrooms.
Yeah,
like shrooms and weed.
not only that, I mean, herbs and everything from healing to poisonous. I think this is the place that you get that stuff at if you want something to, you know, slowly kill you while you have the explosive shits, you know.
Of course.
You know, so, or something to make you, you know, see the fourth wall and talk to this to
The
Dave the
DM.
story, Dave the story guide, you know. So, yeah.
I'm gonna say homeopathic medicine.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, herbalist, yeah. Nothing. So it's kind of the exact opposite of oh my god, what are their names?
Oh, the
Masika.
Miklova, where they're like, Masika's like all
Masika.
science.
Yeah. So she would definitely get herbs and things from use. But she would take to the next level, you know. She would.
1 second.
So yeah, so that's where that would be at. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that what's interesting about you, like Brezonik specifically, and something that may kind of irritate the Liches, because they're all kind of control freaks, is the fact that Brezonik's doing really well.
Yeah.
Like, Brezonik, all things considered, is doing really well without this sort of big unifying figure that the Liches believe is needed. I think that Brezonik isn't liked by Constant and Asiya just for the fact that they're monsters who are acting like quote-unquote normal people. They're just, they're living their lives, and that's abhorrent to Constant and Asiya. We don't know much about Lyri. I think Balinways, they're like, if they can make money off of it, they don't care.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't think the Mummy Queens are paying too much attention to Brezonik.
They don't. The only time they will care is if there's an invasion coming from Brezonik, and that's about it. And
would they? Let's put out a hypothetical. If God, I can't remember its name. The Lich country. Let's say the Lich country invaded. Let's say Miklova invaded Brezonik. Would the Mummy Queens ally with Brezonik because they recognize the kind of buffer that Brezonik provides between these very kind of ambitious Liches and the stuff that they're protecting?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on the situation.
Because I'm trying to figure out, like, Brezonik seems kind of like the odd one out. Where, like, most other countries don't like them, or just kind of tolerate them for benefit. So I'm kind of, I want to find one ally. I want to find one ally for little baby Brezonik.
I think Verena would be, it'd be situational. I think it would depend on if Miklova raided Brezonik to ultimately raid Verena to ultimately free the old gods. I think that would be the only time Verena would like. But no.
No.
Yeah. But if Miklova was raiding Brezonik to say set up something with Balinwade, then they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Does Brezonik have any allies?
I don't think so. I mean, well, yes. Yes and no. Yes and no.
I know that it's all a bunch of conditional one.
I think their best allies right now would be Balinwade.
Yeah. Or maybe Lyri. Do you think Lyri would be in with them?
So Lyri,
or would that be another situational?
So Lyri's kind of in the shade and shadows. Lyri doesn't give a crap about anybody. They're more concerned with internal affairs and the bigger picture.
Something to consider when we build Lyrie. Does Lyrie have a wall around it?
It does not. And
Okay.
there's already a lot of stuff already built for Lyrie.
Okay.
So, yeah, we won't. Let's don't get off into that too much.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because that's another 4 hours worth of
Tangent.
interesting. Yeah. It's. But yeah. But no. Krantz. So here's the thing. Krantz was around back in the day. But now it's destroyed, and now it's a figment of people's imagination. Whatever the hell.
And the shadows that live there.
Yeah. Nemasol in Lyrie was also around back in the day. And still is kind of a functioning city, but not really.
It kind of sounds like Nemasol is better preserved. Because Krantz is like
there's
right on the border of
Nemasol. There's a big twist with Nemasol. So.
We probably shouldn't get into it though, because we're not allowing ourselves to do.
But here's the thing: is speaking of connections, okay? Ballenway is highly interested in what's in Nemasol. How they get to Nemasol is they got to go through Brezonik. Brezonik is like, wait a minute, we can ally with Ballenway if we just send our own people to Nemasol. So the trade is kind of that weird, you know.
I feel my heart goes out to Brezonik, and I feel like they're being made such a patsy by by Ballenway.
But
that's the point.
They're sitting on that weird zone of like compared. I mean, you've got to really consider. You know, goblins live in Brezonik are way better than say goblins living in the land of 1,000 tribes.
Oh yeah, because they've probably been eating. They've been eating well. They've been like they have communities.
They're not at constant war with dwarves and gnomes.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Everyone, ironically enough, kind of just lives in harmony in Brezonik. I feel like that's also something that Brezonik has as a strength, is that when outsiders kind of try to meddle with Brezonik's affairs, like try to stir up a civil war, so Ballenway can claim Krantz or something, like it doesn't work.
No.
Because of like this unifying knowledge of all of the residents of Brezonik, that's like we are quite literally all in this together, and the only way we can stay strong is by having each other's back.
Exactly.
Oh, so sweet.
Yep. So on that note,
yes.
Should we take a break?
Yes, we should. I think we've just about finished Yuvsk.
Anything else do we see on Yuvsk that we want to finish before we take that break?
We could do a little more on the treant, but I'm not sure if he or she is incredibly important right now.
Yeah, I don't think they are. I think we've got the basics down and whatnot. We know the general use. So okay.
Awesome.
So,
take a break.
So
see you guys later.
Watchers, see you in exactly 15 minutes as our break dictates, and we will be finishing up Brezonik with Mogolma and Peck next. So see y'all soon, Watchers.
If you are enjoying our content, please consider supporting us through Patreon. Patrons get access to videos early, as well as digital content easily imported into your own game or campaign. Every bit of support helps us grow as a channel. Do you enjoy watching a live game? Do you have Amazon Prime? Please consider subscribing using your Prime sub on twitch.tv/thexpguild. This is a free and easy way to support the channel. Finally, if you do enjoy this content and know others who might, tell your friends and family about the XP Guild.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for yet another XP Guild show. If you are enjoying this, please do us a favor, click like, subscribe, Hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when our next show goes live. Feel free to drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts on the show, or anything else you want to talk about. I'd like to take a quick moment to say thank you to our friends over at Hero Forge, a Sky Castle LLC product. We are not sponsored by them, but if you're looking for great custom miniatures, check out HeroForge.com. They've been so kind to let us use their art, as many of the miniatures and artwork that we use come from their website with their permission. However, they have not reviewed our content, and so what we do does not necessarily represent their views or beliefs. Again, thank you to Hero Forge.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back, Watchers. Thank you for keeping with us and tuning back in. We are presently working on world building of Miva, and specifically the country of Brezonik, which is our monster country. So far, we have completed 2 of the 4 areas, the main areas within Brezonik, which is
The abandoned city of Krantz, full of ghost and shadow people. I almost said Quebec.
Yeah,
So I think we need to change Quebec so it doesn't sound like Quebec. But we finished the long abandoned metropolis of Krantz. We put in the fact that there are creepy shadow people who live there, who live out their final days, who keep on reliving their final days on Earth before they were killed by a mega spell. And we did Yusvik, a ancient holy site run by a conclave of druids in the service of the Greywood Forest.
yeah. Or in some other language, Yusk.
Or Yavusk.
Yeah. Whichever species or race that you are, you say it a little bit different than the other person.
But
So-
everyone knows all roads lead to...
Yeah. Exactly. So I think before we tackle our capital city, I think Quebec is our next go-to as our little home away from home down south.
Little itty-bitty Quebec. If somebody's traveling from Krantz to Magoma, if they don't want to deal with youths,
Yeah.
they go down to Quebec, which I think we discussed a little bit in our last segment, being a little more ranger-y.
Yeah, kind of more like an outpost than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you get your loggers and your trappers and your mountain men and whoever else dwells within that area. Howdy, Shadow Soldier PR. Thank you for making it. We are on the verge of trying to clear my throat from whatever is going on here.
Why are you doing that?
I don't know. Maybe because I've been talking for 2 hours.
Oh, I've been talking too. You're being so overdramatic. I actually, completely off topic, I'm in Michigan right now. I went, when I went upstairs for break, I looked outside and it's like smoky.
Oh, weird.
Like, it's like foggy because of the wildfires. Isn't that gross?
But that brings us into an interesting thought process, though.
Okay, yeah.
Quebec could be that way.
Okay. I'm not sure. Okay.
Because it's in a higher elevation. Because you have the snow and the mountains.
Oh,
and
do you think all of the fucking pollution coming from Balinway is just funneled straight up to Quebec?
Oh, yeah, I could totally see that. So if we span, I mean, you've got hundreds of miles, but the big weird pollution is the insanity of the Miva meteor here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then just I mean, Constantinessa is at a higher elevation than Balinway. I mean,
So Constantinisia and Quebec can see each other.
Yeah,
Like on a
almost,
clear
almost.
day, you just look over and there's a bunch of like distant in the goggles. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of like really angry conquistadors just like pointing at you.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
But so I think our Quebec. Oh my
Yeah,
God, I
see,
did it
it's
too.
too much
I
like
did it.
Quebec.
Yeah.
We need to figure out a new name for it because we're just gonna be calling it Quebec. Okay, what if we did something stead? Because this could be a place where the original city name has kind of fallen to the wayside. It's the furthest south, so it probably got abandoned pretty quick. And considering how small it looks, not a lot of. I feel like the big abandoned city is Krantz. That's the one that everyone
for sure.
knows about.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers what Quebec used to be called, so we need to. I called it Quebec again. We've got to fix this, Dave.
I know. So
I'm thinking something
On-
stead.
we-
Ooh, Greystead.
we will be fixing it on the map later. So.
Yes.
So
What if we just call it Greystead because it's a like a homestead in the
that's
Greywood.
wrong area. That's use. We always do. That is so true.
There we go, Greystead. Or we can do
Greystead, okay.
Greestead with an E if we want to be
Ooh,
fancy.
okay. Yeah.
Ooh, how's that?
So Quebec maybe is the old
name, Quebec.
The old name, yeah. And Greystead now is the new name.
Okay. Loggers, trappers, rangers, and mountain men. What's special about this space? Because I feel like there's a lot of respect for the druids of Yuvusk.
Yep.
Yuvusk. There's a lot of respect for them, so I'm not sure if there'd be a lot of logging going on, especially with Balinway being right there. Balinway's just lousy with trees.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna have a different type of tree here, because it's a temperate, not really temperate. Oh, it's one of those weird. It's a tropical climate in a temperate region because of.
I've got an
elevation.
idea. Okay, so the trees of the Greywood are the only kind of wood that you can like if you were to make a box out of it, you could put a meteor shard in it, and the meteor shard would not be able to reach outside of it.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah. Okay, I like that idea.
So that's an additional reason. That's not only is it racism that Constantinisia is attacking Brezonik, but it's also like this very powerful kind of safeguarding wood.
How about we make it even, because the Greywood extends all the way into Miklova, all the way up to Karoljan. But how about that specific type only comes from the region of Quebec, aka Greystead. Thus, the trees being the closest to the Miva meteor. Thus, also the mummy queens of Verena. There's something about the magic in that area, the nullifying magic in that area. That,
And I think that with that in mind, we were talking earlier about like who's allied with Brezonik. I don't think the mummy queens are like, it's very situational. I do think that the mummy queens know that the people of Greystead know how to sustainably harvest these very important trees that are very vital to the mummy queen's mission.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you go after Greystead, you're going to get Wrath of the Mummy Queen.
Da da da!
Da
Yes.
da da.
In theaters near you. So yes, for sure, absolutely.
So I think, interestingly enough, I feel like Greystad is a very like it's like Canada in the 1800s.
Oh yeah, that's the vibe
It's
that I was immediately.
Wild and logging. I think,
Yukon.
yeah, it's very Yukon. I think an additional thing, though, is that if someone is really desperate to have a family member healed of this kind of meteor sickness, they send them on to Greystad. Like, it is it's very much a last resort. Like, the church can't. The church is saying we gotta put them down. Type thing.
Oh, maybe. My brain immediately, for that type of healing or whatnot, you know, meteor shard sickness or whatever, different forms of it. Maybe they have to spend X amount of time in basically a box.
A sauna.
That's
a sauna! It's a wooden box.
yeah, like I was thinking coffin box, but yeah, I mean it would be, you know.
It can be. I feel like you've got a couple different options depending on like how cray the person is. Like if they're like, no, I desire the meteor, you nail them into the coffin box.
Yeah.
But if they're kind of like, I desire the meteor, but I'm being chill about it, you put them in the sauna.
Yeah. Oh, and maybe, well, I mean, it could be a combination of both. I mean, maybe there's healing springs or whatnot in this area.
I don't want to make this place too resort-y. Because, like, the Druids got a little more of, like, a resort Eden thing going on. Like, this isn't somewhere that you send your family member to on the first kind of show signs of it. This is like, we're gonna nail your family member into a box and feed them through a tube for 2 months until they're better.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so it's less of a spa and more of a rehab.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, like a, oh my god, what was that movie? About Dr. Kellogg.
Oh, yeah. But I don't think there's not that much scientific stuff going on. I feel like there are no... Yeah, there are. I feel like the big thing about Greystad is that there aren't, like, professional doctors and stuff unless, like, a person brings it. It's kind of like you bring your family member to the logging men, and the logging men are like, yeah, you know, pay us $1 a day. And we'll make sure that your family member doesn't die, and we'll nail him in a box. Why does the wood work? We don't know. We're just the loggers.
Yeah. Well, we could go off that whole weird. Oh my god, what was the name of it? It was, you know, like the. Like in Christianity, you have, you know...
Like a conversion camp?
No. Like you have, you know, you have your traditional Christian, you know, churches and whatnot. But then you have that weird southern thing where they, you know, celebrate
like the snake handlers. Yeah, the snake handlers.
You know, or, you know, you gotta drink, you know, the moonshine at the right time in the morning to, you know, wrap your... You know, wrap your neck around the old sock and, you know, wish on a dirty rag. You know, that kind of weird.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like that would be a little more Yusk, though. I want the people of Greystad to be so intensely down to earth.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's kind of like they're going to nail you in a box. They don't know why the box works. They just know it works. They have like these things that seem like rituals at first, but are just kind of like actual practical things where it's like, okay, we're gonna get in a circle and we're gonna spit in this bowl and we're gonna mash up leaves and we're gonna cover you in those leaves.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like very ritualistic, but it's legitimately not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, it's very like, this is what you gotta do. This works. We don't question why it works. It just does. Could be gods. Could be nature. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And I think in this case that can make it, the superstitions that the people of Braestead do have are very difficult to distinguish from like the actual real techniques. Like stuff that actually works 100% of the time, or like 90% of the time. They're a different kind of home remedy.
Yeah.
Like Yusk is like, here, have this greywood tea made from all of these dried herbs in concordance to Mother Earth. And Braestead's like, okay, we're gonna fill a pig bladder with sawdust and you're gonna eat it. And we're not gonna tell you why. But it does work.
So I guess the next question is, how is it set up?
I feel like
Because we've got
it's
a
kind of-
treant running Yusk.
Yeah.
So is it a council of like old people?
Like
The
an old folks
elders?
council?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the elders, because they would know the most knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
know the practices of chew on a rusty nail that gets rid of gout. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be kind of like an old folks council. And then, like, if there's like a call for all of the leaders of Brezonik to get together, one of the old folks goes, or a couple of the old folks go.
Yeah.
I want to kind of play into the folk aspect of things.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
I
for sure.
want there to be a giant as one of the old folks. You know, like Paul Bunyan. Like, he's obviously not usual for the region, but Brezonik is the country of monsters. He's kind of found a niche that's perfect for himself. He or she.
So, what kind of giant are we?
What kind of giants are there?
Because I don't want to go too extreme. Because we also can go something in between that. We can go a Furbolg or a Goliath, even.
I want him to be a giant. We aren't going to go too nuts with it. I think...
Okay, so let's go ahead and type that in, giant. So we could go...
Stone giant?
Stone giant, I was kind of leaning toward that, yeah, because you don't want to... Because hill giants are kind of dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find it here.
Let's see.
What is their
Oh,
intelligence?
what about a cloud?
Cloud, now clouds too.
Clouds are a little too like, woo, fog cloud. They're a little too misty steppy.
Yeah, so stone giants, however, stone giant, so the what D&D 5e reads, if you were using a D&D 5e stone giant. Stone giants are reclusive, quiet, and peaceful as long as they are left alone. They go off into their skin colorations. Let's see here. They have a 12 wisdom and a 10 intelligence. So they're above average on their wisdom and about average on their intelligence. So
Yeah.
So it kind of fits with that whole logger-esque.
Not too charismatic. Logger man.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, here we go. Dreamer, continue reading from what 5e says. Dreamers under sky. Stone giants view the world outside their underground homes as the realm of dreams where nothing is entirely true or real. They behave in the surface world the way humanoids might behave in their own dreams, making little account of their action and never fully trusting what they see or hear. A promise made above ground need not be kept. Insults can be made without apology. Killing prey or sentient beings is no cause for guilt in the dreaming world beneath the sky. But, that's a typical standard
giant, yeah.
Giant.
And this guy isn't from... This guy's been outside of his home country.
Absolutely. Which is the
for
other side of the
quite a
world.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe
so I feel
some kind of form of I wouldn't say half giant, but he's got maybe
like a 3/4 giant. Maybe he's not like
he's not completely. Yeah.
Like he's mostly giant. Or it could just be a simple fact of like he's been not in his home country for so long, and he's tried to wake up.
Yeah.
But he can't, so I think he's kind of trapped. And maybe he's like chosen to trap himself here,
Absolutely.
Because going through Balinway is no.
And I mean, if you look, and the funny thing is, if you look at the Peck, aka Graystead, I mean, it's near the mountain region. It's a mountainous area, so he could very easily have a cave nearby, that he actually lives in, so
yeah,
he doesn't necessarily stay in the town.
Or he lives under the town, even. Since the town itself is kind of at a higher elevation, he just lives under the town.
Yeah.
Okay, so our stone giant, I think, is probably going to be the head of the Old Folks Council. I don't think, or maybe just like the deliberator.
I think he's just one of the many.
One of them.
Yeah.
How many people in the Old Folks Council?
I think for
7?
now we could do 7, or we could do
5.
3 or 5 is what I was thinking.
Yeah, I say we do 5.
There's definitely got to be. What? Sorry, you're going all real buddy.
I think 5 is the perfect number. Just because, if one old folk gets sick, then, you can always go down to 3.
Yeah.
There's safety in that numbers. I think that the Old Folks Council, no matter what, is an odd number.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, okay. I don't think there's a single human on the council.
No, definitely not.
I think we've got the stone giant. I put down another tree ant, but I'm not sure about that. It could work in the fact that they are harvesting from the gray wood.
Or we could do, I don't know. Come up with another being from the woods.
Hide behind.
One thing I was thinking is, since it's near mountains and just the area, what about Aarakocra?
I thought Aarakocra were native to Adril. And I think we should really lean into the monster stuff here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so with
just
that,
because Aarakocra can be in almost any government, anywhere else in the world. Whereas like here, let me think. Hide behind. What are other like kind of foresty raids?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. So
let's see.
There's a lot. We'll let you know. So
I kind of want a big creepy guy. I kind of want a big, creepy, spindly guy. Who's like a little socially anxious. But damn if he isn't good at logging.
Not too sure exactly what that would be right offhand. That wouldn't be like evil per se. So, because I mean, we could go with the troll, of course, but a lot of these are like not friendly with people.
And these, of course, can be the kind of maybe not exceptions, but if they aren't 100% solitary. Like this space, I think, is something that. Remember that Brezonik is where all the monsters who don't want to be on their own go.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We could have a dragon, or like some kind of damned dragon.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with one of them being a dragon.
Okay. Basilisk?
No, they're non-intelligent.
Oh, bugbear.
Bugbear, definitely. That was one that I was thinking earlier. So maybe we keep the 3 for right now, and then later on we can come up with another 2 later.
Yeah.
So
The other 2
because
kind of
there's-
cycle.
There's so many options that we could choose from.
Oh, what about a coatl? Although I couldn't see it being hunted.
No.
What if we do something like a plant? If we can find an intelligent plant. What about a shambling mound?
Uh,
Oh, -3 intelligence, no.
Yeah. No. Now we could go with something like a sprite, which would be your fey creature. So.
Or since we're so close to Mummy Lands, we could do some form of undead.
I think.
What about no, that's a -3. I kind of was looking at ogre skeleton.
No, definitely not. I think and ogres are big, dumb, and stupid anyway. I think we should, for once, with the Beastlands, I think we should keep the undead at a minimum. Because of the amount
the undead
of
can go to
around. You know, we got
Yeah.
Lynches north, we've got vampires west, and we got
mummies south.
Yeah, so,
They've got so many options.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look at monstrosities. What about? Let me see. God damn.
Yeah. That's the downside, is that they don't.
They're all so stupid.
Yeah. And I don't think there's an option to click on for intelligence. So you have to look at each individual one. So.
Yeah.
And there's thousands, hundreds. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we should leave it at 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we want to come back to it, then we add 2 more. So,
Mm-hmm.
so far we've got our stone giant, a bugbear, and what was our third option?
I kind of threw out a treant, but we've got one in
We've got it.
Yuvsk, so why would it be?
Let's do a sprite. Pick
Okay.
up sprite, because that's kind of our foresty person. And they're not too, they're on
Yeah,
the
we could do
borderline.
Sprite.
Yeah. So
They're like a,
they're fey.
But yeah, well, that makes me think, would a Sprite be accepted in regular culture?
Not necessarily. So
You sure?
yeah, you read sprites, what they do and stuff like that. So. Because I was thinking dryad, but the dryads would be against chopping down trees.
Mm-hmm. Or we could post it as a dryad that has a connection to what trees are dying. kind of like an uneasy alliance type thing,
Yeah,
where it's like,
maybe.
okay, these loggers are going to be here. I recognize the good that they're doing.
Now, a more twisted idea, because we got 3 slots left, would be 3 green hags, which would be a coven of hags, which they would ultimately be the ones really in charge. So,
what would that... Okay. Let's see. Oh, she can breathe air and water. Love her. Love her. Oh, obsession with tragedy. Oh, but they derive joy from bringing people low and seeing hope turn into despair. I don't think that would be something that would be able to thrive at a logging corporation.
but not necessarily a logging corporation.
Not
You
a
gotta
corporation,
remember
but like a logging camp, especially...
Well, let's rewind. Let's rewind then. So we brought up dragon.
Yes.
So let's
We
look
could... We could do kind of a turn from what is usual and have it be like a green dragon, because I think, although they live in kind of swampy spaces.
Not necessarily. That's black dragons. So the forest-loving green dragons sometimes compete for territory with black dragons in marshy woods, with white dragons in subarctic. And I can never say that word. However, a forest controlled by a green dragon is easy to spot. So,
because they thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And green dragons are the most manipulative lift.
You want to take that again?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But yes, they manipulate people and things and their surroundings and whatnot. So they're technically lawful evil, but
Lawful.
yeah, well, they've been the truth and whatnot to their own advantage, essentially. So, in this weird alliance with each other, maybe someone's protecting someone, so on and so forth,
Yeah, I think that when we look at it, we might want to... I like the idea of, like, maybe if this is an old folk, it's got to be like an ancient green dragon, right?
It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Okay.
Because the dragon's living so old and whatnot, maybe it's just simply, someone that has the most experience that moved in the area and found a weird melding with these people.
Right. Well, because I was thinking, like, the interesting part on how the stone giant and the green dragon interact is, like, the stone giant, when they're above their cave, nothing's real to them.
Yeah.
So that makes it kind of tough for a stone giant to be manipulated in a permanent way. It's kind of like a paper to, like, rock. So I think we need to find a scissors. And I'm not completely convinced that a bugbear fits that.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, so our bugbear would be... We can add that as our fourth choice then.
Yeah. I'm gonna really dig into the aberrations. I want something without hands.
Okay.
We gotta get something real gnarly up there.
So here's an interesting being. So look up... Well, we can't really use this one per se. It's specific to a setting book. But maybe a unicorn.
Maybe. Again, I'm worried. I know that they'd be hunted. Mm.
A unicorn's lair might be in an ancient ruin overgrown with vines, a misty clearing surrounding mighty oaks, a flower-covered hilltop alive with butterflies, or some other serene woodland location.
I think unicorn might work. Because we have
It's
our
kinda
stone
that-
giant.
Weird,
Yeah.
you know?
Where it's like, it's all little, like, we've got the stone giant who doesn't think anything's real 50% of the time. We have the green dragon who probably ultimately has the best intentions of the little city at heart, but is going to manipulate his way into getting that done. And then we have a unicorn.
Which has an intelligence of 11 and a wisdom of 17.
Ooh, okay, yeah. What's their charisma?
16. Which also
Okay.
lends itself to, they have healing touch that they can do 3 times a day, and even a teleport.
That unicorn is for sure the big one helping people.
Yeah,
Helping, like, the really bad off.
I mean, on top of
Meteor
that,
sickness.
on top of that, they have legendary actions too. Which one
I
of them
think all
is,
of these guys have legendary actions.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah.
Maybe
Tell me
not
about their
Stone Giant.
legendary reactions.
well, the 2 that stick out is Shimmering Shield. The unicorn creates a shimmering magical field around itself or another creature it can see within 60 feet. The target gains a +2 to AC. The other one is Heal Self. The unicorn can magically regain 11 hit points 3 times a day. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, it fits that weird. Well, you know what it fits once again? It fits that plateau of good, evil, and neutral. The unicorn's good, the dragon's evil, and the stone giant's neutral.
The stone giant's so neutral. And then there's also a bugbear and a dryad there who are just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's do one more thing about Greystead. I mean, I don't know though. I feel like, what else more needs to be said about Greystead?
I mean, other than the makeup of the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
because
it's difficult to get to in a different way than maybe Yevsk.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Because,
it's
like,
okay.
Yevsk, you've got to go through the Greywood. I mean, you've got to go through the Greywood for both, but, like, you're in the Greywood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're in the Greywood. I mean, there is a trail that leads to it and stuff like that, but it's only like one trail. It doesn't connect to any. It only connects Mongolma and Krantz, and that's it. I mean, there is no other way to go, as well as the simple fact that I think also, like, the buildings and whatnot are log cabins to, like, rock formations to, just kind of almost that weird.
Like, it kind of blends into the nature
Absolutely.
around
It's
it. Like,
what
it borrows a wall from a stone, kind of.
yeah. Or, some kind of crevice in some kind of cave, then suddenly, throw up a tarp and there's your lean-tos are often seen in.
Oh, they've definitely. It's got like a logging camp setup where it's like,
Yeah.
soup's on, everyone eats at the same time. Same soup.
Maybe not the same soup, but yeah, I mean, but
About the same soup.
But yeah, same
Maybe they have
routine.
Ooh, one meal a day that's kind of like, okay, put something in the water. That's what we're having for lunch. A little soup communal.
Or Or maybe, well, we could do maybe they have one community meal a day. Beyond that, you gotta fend for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really practical. Because it's like they got to make sure that people are eating at least once a day because it's a working place. You work. Yeah. Okay. Blends easily with nature. Lean twos. And
I have to refresh.
It's probably breakfast, right? What do you think their community meal is?
Well, that's the question. I think maybe it's not breakfast. Maybe it's dinner where everybody can sit down and talk about the day and go over, what they've seen, what they've done.
A lot of rocking chairs, a lot of pipes. People are like smoking their pipes.
Maybe
that's when people break out like the music.
Squeeze box music, whatever, violin or fiddle,
Viola works too.
Yeah. Your squeeze box and fiddle and your what do you call it? Your spoons and your
washboard. Yeah.
Washboard, a very Appalachian feel, I think, is what we're getting from Gracestead.
Yeah.
So, and which brings to the next thing is people coming in, outsiders, which I think is the same ilk is trappers, furs, mountain men, rangers, adventurers, even, you're not going to find a noble.
You're not going to find
like
merchants.
Yeah, you're not going to find unless that they deal with that specifically, logging and furs and, and it's going to be that kind of, people with mules.
Down to earth and practical.
You're not going to find a steam-powered carriage running through.
It would be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
There are no nobles in Gracestead. Only old folks. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think also, we can really lean into it and being like, I don't think the people of Gracestead trust very easily. Like, they trade, but they don't give information. Yevsk is kind of like they're friendly because they have these forms of punishment that are very magical.
Yeah.
I think Gracestead is very much like someone asks them a question, it's like, why are you asking?
Yeah.
How's it your business?
It's the old,
You a cop?
Chili commercial, that whole, when's the last time you had a good, bowl of chili? Well, that's too long. Get a rope. So I think it's very...
Ooh, they're nice, but they're not polite.
Yeah. They've got that...
They've got this kind of ruggedness.
Yeah, it's that frontier justice.
Justice is mostly fun.
Why can't I see the green dragon and a top hat and the long mustache beard as he twiddles it?
He showed up like that. He showed up like that once, and I feel like the town almost beat him.
Yeah. Oh,
I think that's another big thing about the gun.
Old TV show turned into a movie that was really, really popular. This Gracestead Screams It, which is the show called Deadwood. And I think Swearinger was one of he was kind of like not mayor but not. He was a very, very influential people that was just borderline outright dirty, mean, but yet kind of a weird good guy.
Right.
But not. You know, it was just kind of that way. Swearinger screams a green dragon. So, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
type
it's
that
just-
in because I don't know how to spell that.
That's all right. We'll just put Deadwood, and I'll fill it in after I look up proper terminology. So
I'm just gonna do who's like
yeah,
that.
I mean,
one
the
dude.
more I think
um,
about that TV series, the more that what we have written, it is extreme. Yeah, holy crap! So this is awesome.
Yeah.
Very similar. Very similar.
So it's very like, okay, yeah, it's very much like, okay, I guess people are. I feel like here's the thing. I'm thinking of like the plot here. The unicorn started the whole healing people from the meteor sickness stuff.
Yeah.
The green dragon was like, hold up, we need to fucking charge people for this.
Absolutely.
Like we can't just be like cutting down our trees and putting people in boxes for nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's once again how they really balance each other out.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
the green dragon's kind of more conniving instincts help circumvent the unicorn's potential, like, overly giving instincts.
Absolutely.
Okay. With impractical, they're not polite. Lots of folk harmonies.
I'm gonna post about now they did something stupid.
Oh no! Or nor.
Yeah, they didn't do it right.
What's up?
But continue.
Oh, I didn't really have anything else to say for Greystead specifically.
Yeah, I think we've nailed it. So I think we're good on Greystead.
Magoma,
the big city.
So this is probably the place that's like closest to like a city in Balanway or Vobian. Like this probably has some like actual infrastructure.
So
it probably go ahead.
No, absolutely. And you know what my brain was thinking?
Yeah.
What if we built it like, because it was the icon that I had available on the program, but I got to thinking about it, and I was thinking because it is a monster city, it is a hub for all these different species and whatnot. What if we built it like that homeless city? I think it was in Hong Kong, Japan. Not Japan, but China. I can't remember if it was in China or where, but it was Kuwang, I think it was. It was a mega city of like 10,000 people or something like that, and it was all built from junk, and it was all built straight up in this big block, and it was just this whole network of events, and it was like totally like it was nuts.
Could we do that? Maybe there's that city that's kind of north of Yuvsk. Could that be that city potentially? Because I feel at least in my head, I was thinking
You're going robot-y.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Because I was thinking, like, Magolma is one of the places that, like, if like, somebody who knows nothing about Brezonik, who knows, like, only kind of the stereotypical stuff about monsters, steps into Magolma, they'll immediately be struck with just how normal it feels. Like, it's not made of trash. It's not made of refuse. They've got like a quarry kind of nearby, and it just feels like a city. And of course there are like special like sections, like a little like Zootopia, where it's like, okay, you have the region for the people who need to be damp all the time. But yeah.
Kind of the way I was going. I mean, but instead of your traditional city, I was thinking it would be like up high-rise style, block format. Instead of like your typical expanse, and then you have certain buildings go up. No, this entire thing is built in this.
Magoma has a small footprint, but it's so tall.
Wait, you went in robot again.
So Magoma has a small footprint, but it's...
One more time.
Magoma has a small footprint, but it's really tall.
Yeah, it's like, it's a square city, sort of. I mean, when you look at it from like an airship or whatnot, it looks like a big rectangle / box thing that like has like it's built on multiple floors, multiple levels, and it's just because I'm thinking maybe like it's that whole, because they want you to be accepted, they want you to be, part of the community. There's no building restrictions, there's no, laws against, you just gotta, make sure. If
your neighbors don't like it, then either, change your design or find some new neighbors. Like
yeah. So you have this weird utopia that looks like, what the fuck was that?
It's the ugliest utopia ever. It's so ugly.
Yeah, but once you start getting into the different levels and getting into the different things, and then you start to see, it's like, wait a minute, that species doesn't work with that other species, but they're living next door to each other. They're
borrowing sugar from each other.
Yeah, they're barbecuing.
They're like, it'd be kind of interesting, like, where like adventurers come in and they see like what these monsters that they've been fighting look like when they're well fed and happy.
Yeah. Although
like seeing them when they're not just like, I'm sure the city has its own problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any city that is built out of whatever on multiple layers without building restrictions has a ton of problems. And also the species alone wanting to up, the whole dominance thing, and whatever, But other than that,
it's not like super aggressive stuff either. It's not like, I'm going to kill your family for dominance. It's almost a little more like suburban, where it's like, I'm going to have the greenest lawn, and that's how I'm the best.
Yeah, I mean,
not like that exactly, but
no, but I mean, there's a lot of very Shadowrun-like. I'm thinking very, very cyberpunk-esque. You have your functions that work in the shadows, in the darkness, in the weird Cold War-esque, area. But then you have, your lower level, like, outright, I'm a street gang, you're a street gang, I want your turf, I want your turf. So let's go battle, and that's, you only, have that going on. You don't have, like, mega wars and stuff like that, because you're all trying to, like,
at the end of the day, they all know that they're not each other's true enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm hearing is that Magoma doesn't have a lot of murders.
It would.
I mean, for a big city.
Yeah.
It's at least fatality rate is lower than what you'd expect. Partially because it kind of sounds like each kind of community, there might be kind of like a shadow thing and like a bigger government, but each community very much polices itself.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And as a result, Like, you're not going to rob a store of someone you know.
Yeah.
Or someone that your mom knows. Like...
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be this weird... Yeah, I mean, it's almost... It's a tribal community living within a tribal community living within a big city.
I mean, it doesn't even sound like a tribe. It just sounds like community, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, community, neighborhood, however you want to label it, you know, so...
I'd still like to put down that Mogolma's crime rates, not that any of the other big cities of the world are asking, but Mogolma's crime rates are pretty low for a large city. There's crime, of course, but it's not to the scale of West-Dressed.
Yeah.
Or even Harburg. And Harburg might be smaller than Mogolma.
No, I think Mogolma is definitely smaller than Harburg. I don't think Mogolma has pushed over 1 million inhabitants.
No.
So Harburg is 1 million inhabitants. So
Okay. Probably because, I mean, like it or not, being a monster is really dangerous.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's just like this nature of like, okay, I'm a beholder. I'm going to go try to visit my family who live out of town, and then you get killed on the way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's what it is.
And technically, beholders don't have families. So
Buddies. I'm gonna go visit my chess buddy.
yeah, definitely something like that. So okay, do I need to refresh?
Let's see, what else? What's their unique thing? Like, what is, aside from being kind of like this really cool, like, multicultural utopia,
Mm-hmm.
what's up with Mogolma? Why are all these people here?
Good question. Safety for one, I think.
Okay.
Number two, I mean, once again, it's that weird artifact trade. You know,
Okay.
as well as they have a direct link. At least there's a trail, not well taken, but that leads to the capital of the mummy queens, as well as it goes to. I mean, Mogolma is connected to all three capitals.
So it's kind of like this crossroads.
It is a crossroads for sure. Then those crossroads eventually lead into Balinway, the ultimate plunderer of treasure. So, which leads out to the rest of the world.
Right.
Through Harburg.
But what would, I guess, Mogolma, they can, I'm trying to think of, because I'm thinking of how our demon country, their cities are really populated because they have, like, illicit black market, like, that's their big thing, how black market they are.
I mean,
So Mogolma
Yeah.
can just be big for the fact that, like, it's like a regular city, but it's all monsters.
Well, yeah. I mean, not only all monsters, but it's in a safe place, relatively. You know, as well as it's kind of a hub for anything you want. You can get there. You know,
It's kind of like Switzerland.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and because if you want your adventure and you want to put together a treasure hunting crew for Namashal, you would go to Mogolma. You know, or if you want to go for some weird reason to Miklova, you would go to, you know, Mogolma.
Go to Mogolma.
Yeah.
Right.
So on and so forth, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's pretty,
And
I honestly feel like that's, like, do we have anything else to add to Magoma?
I mean, other than, the government and stuff like that, but no, I think that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
So,
Government, I feel like the government's pretty standard. It's just got a mayor. It's more or
Yeah.
less democracy.
I think it's
Just
got a
because-
weird checks and balance thing. It's more of a bureaucratic democracy, I think.
I think it
Because-
is, but I think we
because you
can
got-
add.
Because you've got, your different communities taking care of communities, which has their own leaders, which that would be their mayors and their whatever, But then you have the overall people that run the actual city itself, which would be, it's kind of this weird.
I feel like there's gotta be some fun thing where it's like, if the people of the city don't like a lawmaker,
Mhm.
the lawmaker can choose to either verbally defend themselves in like a debate, or like go into the ring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, the ultimate, yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not a deathmatch thing, but it's very much like a get the shit beat out of you, or beat the shit out of enough people
Yeah.
for you to like keep your status. Like fighting in Magoma is like a very, I feel like you could do something where it's like fighting in Magoma is just like a very casual way to resolve arguments. Like there's no like, we're going to fight to the death.
Well, maybe there is on certain circumstances, but maybe the government does that to keep crime down, to keep, murder, to keep this tribe community from killing this other tribe community, thus starting a war with this other community. Nah, you just, go to the arena.
Pick a representative, send him in the ring.
Or, either representative or your entire group goes in, battling another group goes in, depending on how, the whole, gang versus gang, whatever, and you officially get it recognized as a dispute and this, that, and the other, So.
I feel like with this in mind, I feel like for people who have done truly heinous crimes, they don't get the honor of fighting.
No.
Fighting is honorable.
Yeah.
Fighting is a gentleman's way to resolve arguments.
Yeah.
If you've done a horrible crime, you're not going to get that gentleman's way. You're just going to be executed or exiled. Or maybe there's like an exchange thing where like prisoners, if you've done a bad enough crime, people can like rent you from the government as like trap fodder. Where it's like, okay, if you've done a bad enough crime, you're going to go out with an adventuring party and you're basically going to be the stick that they use to poke around in the minefield.
Yeah. So can you see chat?
No.
Okay. So I read,
Let me
we... Jack of
Oh
the
yeah,
says-
so buff.
Yeah. So the mayor
Yep.
of Magoma is the buffiest of buffiest.
Everyone in Magoma is uncomfortably buff. Like all of the leaders are kind of like this weird pinnacle of their species thing going on, which I think can be kind of weird for adventurers coming in.
My brain goes to that awful YouTube thing that's been going around, also probably on TikTok too, is Harry Spotter, and the one that lifts weights. So I have to send that to you.
Oh yeah. That is very much the vibe of like sport is taken very seriously here.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone in the city recognizes that there are going to be disputes between different factions, but because of the tenuous nature of Brezonik, they can't kill each other.
Yeah.
They gotta work it out somehow, and it's like, it's kind of like an Air Bud thing, where it's like, hey, I have like a blood oath against your family. What are you gonna do about it, pal? Let's play hockey. Like,
yeah. Well,
like,
I mean, which is funny, which is highly funny because in the Games Workshop Warhammer universe, they have a game called Blood Bowl, where it's literally death matches of football. So I get one team versus another team.
But remember, non-fatal, because this city is so. If anything, Brezonik is a land of you don't kill unless there is no other option.
Yeah,
because we are so few.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm guessing exile is probably the highest punishment before execution. Like, they will exile someone before they execute them.
I can see that. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, I put down that the mayor of Mogolma is very hot. Uncomfortably hot. All lawmakers of Mogolma are absolutely shredded. And the beholders have abs.
So, do we think we're done?
I think we are done. Let's do a quick summary before we hop off.
Okay, before we do, let's read Jackass's comment that they just made. In Warhammer 40k, there's also a lore behind orcs that they don't age; they just grow and grow. So if you see an old orc, it's the buffiest, biggest, most veteran warrior you can imagine. I remember that lore. It's been a really long time, but yeah. So. Okay, yeah, so for the most part, Watchers, we are done. So we'll go over, do a summary.
Quick summary.
Yeah, I'll show the map.
So let's do it in the order that we actually did them, which is, I think we did it from the bottom up again.
We did.
Okay.
So in Brezonik,
this is the country of Brezonik. It is a free-for-all. I wouldn't call it free-for-all anymore.
No.
It's not like that kind of surprise that all the monsters are fighting for each other.
You're going robot-y. Yeah,
How about
there we go. We're good. So far, so good.
Okay. Country of Brezonik. It's kind of like it's got like this unofficial council of leaders. Mogolma is the capital. Citizens will always vote to someone before they execute someone. Huh?
You roboted just a little bit, then okay. Continue.
Okay. We're gonna start at the bottom. France is an abandoned. I'm seeing it a little bit.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're not doing great.
That means I have to do fast, so I'm going to stay very still. Krantz is an abandoned mega city. It is mostly abandoned because of all the ghost shadow people who live in there. But it is the reason it's abandoned is because it was the site of the old gods' attempts to counteract the effects of the Miva meteor, which ended up really killing everyone in the city. Now it's just kind of a black market for artifacts. Yuvisk. It is an ancient holy site, a way stop for fresh water. It is run by druids. Partakes mostly in homeopathic medicine. And there's a very strict rule system on how to keep Yuvisk secret from places like Constantinia. So outsiders do not know about Yuvisk. Greystead, formerly Quebec. It is a city of loggers, trappers, rangers, and mountain men. the trees of Greystead are uniquely equipped to dampen the power of meteor shards, which makes them very valuable in treating the effects of meteor shard sickness. The people of Greystead are down to earth and practical, and the city is run by a rock giant, a unicorn, and a green dragon. And Magolma, it is the capital city. It's very Shadowrun-like. It's very tall, small footprint. The government is kind of a jerry-rigged democracy, and non-feudal fighting is the most common way to resolve arguments.
And you just paused there for a little bit.
No.
No, your thing did.
Oh no, where did I get?
Okay, you back?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Other than that, I think we're done for now. What? No, is she back? Sort of.
Oh, here.
Okay, there she is. Okay. Other than that, I think we're done with Brezonik. So with that, watchers, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. Thank you for all the wonderful input, comments, and the like. Not too sure when me and Belle will be doing this again. Hopefully sooner than later. But next Tuesday talks will be probably me and Bill again, doing continuing on the hub build. Beyond that, this coming Friday, if you can, tune in at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I think 5 p.m. Pacific Time, for a Seabound Journey. Belle is one of the main participants in it, with a host of other awesome ladies. And then after that, due to 4th of July here in the United States, we have moved the Tuesday game to Monday. So during the day, same bat time, same bat channel, Vobian Nights, Shadows Within the Streets will be aired that day on Monday at the same time, which is like noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 10 a.m. Pacific. And then that night is our very, very last episode of Welcome to the Time Museum, Part 3.
The Time Museum.
So, which Belle is also part of. So yes.
Can't get rid of me.
I know. But then after that, one reason why we've been doing so much work on Miva itself is because we're doing a very, very special brand new show on Monday after the Time Museum. We are doing Back to Ballinway, where the entire party starts in Harburg and will be going through Ballinway and into the interior of Miva itself. So all the things that you saw on our show, they may run into. So, and then some. So stay tuned for another episode of me and Belle doing world building of Merosia. When that will be?
Who's asking?
Yeah, follow us all on our social links and that, and the other, and it will be posted. So thank you so much, and I guess we should say see you next time.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.